So we're getting closer and closer to the first start for Desmond Ridder at QB1 for the Falcons, right? Got the official word yesterday, the official, that Marcus Mariota is done for the season, and we suspect done with his Falcons career. So Desmond Ridder, time to shine.
Chronic knee injury.
Yeah, time to shine, Desmond Ridder. So
Yes.
I think with him, we have someone whom we can be confident in. So many of the players, even Drake London, got a chance to hear from him yesterday. He talked a lot about the preparation that they have done off season and all throughout the year.
Yes.
We heard great things from Tyler Algier just before that. So you kind of feel like, okay, rookie, we think you're ready. The question is, especially with you getting Elijah Wilkinson back, he's been taking reps with the first team. Is this offensive line ready to give Desmond Ridder what he needs so that he can be set up for success on Sunday?
I absolutely wholeheartedly believe it. And I think that you bringing up Elijah Wilkinson is a great point because you got some stability there, right? Because I think he brought stability to that position because that was
Mm,
the biggest question. Who's going to be the starter at left guard?
left
Is
guard.
Jalen Mayfield going to be back there? Is that because we all know that was insane? That's the definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing, trying to get a different result. And we know that Jalen Mayfield wasn't the answer. And Elijah
Yeah.
Wilkinson, we got a chance to talk to him leading up to the season, and what I gather from him, and I know you
Hmm.
probably came away feeling
Yeah.
the same way as well. I was impressed. I was
Hmm.
impressed by his knowledge of the game and what he wants to do and what he knew exactly what he came in here for, and that was to be
Yes.
a guy that you can count on. And I think
Hmm.
that I was pretty pleased in the first few games when he was in there at left guard. So I think that is a big key, and putting some stability right there. And then you
Hmm.
got Drew Dahlman, who's still in there. Like, ain't nothing you can do about that. That's what it is. But I think that having somebody that you don't have, two guys you have to worry about right there in the middle of that offensive line, I think that's going to be something that's going to really help Desmond Ridder. And the run game. The
Hmm.
run
Yeah.
game is going to be very key for him. Not necessarily for as far as rushing yards and not getting all the
Hmm.
attempts and all that stuff. Obviously, you
Right.
want to be able to average between 4 to 5 yards a pop. That's going to help a lot. But when it comes time to take a shot down the field, because Arthur
Yes.
Smith talked about pushing the offense. That's one of the
Hmm.
reasons why he wanted Desmond Ridder in the game.
Yeah.
Remember the word. I think Arthur Smith was being very prophetic right there.
Hmm.
Pushing, pushing the ball down the field. We know that's what Marcus Mariota he struggled with at a lot of times. He's one of the
Yeah.
worst quarterbacks in the league as far as completion percentage, ball thrown down the field 20 plus yards. That's a fact. And we've seen that, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and I looked at the numbers. So I think that Desmond Ridder can be in that one aspect of the game.
Hmm.
He's going to help push this offense where Arthur Smith wants it to be.
Yeah, and hopefully he will. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Caleb McGarry for round two. Can he keep Cam Jordan away?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Cam Jordan's been the problem. Let's
Wait,
be
wait, wait,
honest.
wait. Hold on, T. You got to be respectful of Cam now. Like, I don't like the New Orleans Saints, but you got to be respectful. His name is Daddy when it comes to Caleb. Caleb McGarry has referred to Cam Jordan as Daddy because hey, you got to block Daddy today. You got to block Daddy on Sunday. That's
Yeah,
that. That's at the end of the day. You got to block Daddy. Block Daddy
exactly.
on Sunday, Caleb.
So yeah, I mean seriously, like he's had his number for years. I mean,
Ever since he stepped
literally.
on the field
Right, right. I
as
mean,
a
poor Matt
starter.
Ryan. I felt like Matt Ryan was just triggered. Like every
Yes.
time he saw Cam Jordan or just heard that
Oh,
name, triggered.
oh,
Yeah,
oh. Cam Jordan. Oh.
it's going to happen again. It's happening again. And granted, we all chuckled and in
Yes.
amazement, like the first couple of quarters of game one in week one, right? We're like,
Right.
Cam Jordan sure is quiet today.
Quiet.
Oh,
Him
but
quiet.
wait a minute. By that midway through that third quarter, going into that fourth quarter, he the giant was awakened. So to me,
He's
that's probably
alive.
the biggest right. The sleeping giant was awakened. So that's the biggest challenge I feel like the offensive line has to take into account.
Right.
If you can keep Cam Jordan just honest, just give Ritter an opportunity. I think you'll be fine because if you give him that, I feel like Drake London can do whatever he needs to do against the likes of Marcus Lattimore. Like I don't think that he's going to be a problem because I actually watched a couple of routes that were run early. in that game in week 1. And honestly, if Marcus Mariota would have put the ball where it was supposed to be, Drake London would have been fine because he was blowing away really the whole the entire secondary for the Saints.
Yes.
So I think that's one of those things where, again, if he could just get that 1 or 2 seconds just to find his guy or read through his progressions, I think he'll just be fine. But that's up to the O line to give him that. And also, like you said, make those holes that CP and Algier can run through so that all the pressure is not on Ridder.
And T, I think you can bring up a great point because in watching, I got a chance to check out Desmond Ridder's press conference earlier this morning, and like when he was asked about Drake London,
Mm-hmm.
like it kind of reminded me of Nate McMillan when the first time he
Mm-hmm.
was asked about DeJounte Murray, he
DeJounte
just
Murray,
started
yeah.
smile. Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I got my mother blanket. Oh, I'm ready to go. And I
Yes,
feel like Desmond Ritter feels like he has that in Drake London because
indeed.
the smirks on his face, the smile,
Mm-hmm.
he just lit up when he was asked about Drake. He like, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? And I was just
My
like,
guy.
yeah, don't be surprised if Drake get a couple extra targets. Not saying that he ain't gonna rock with everybody else. Alamade's
Mm-hmm.
kids is definitely formidable, but I think that and Cardell Hodge as well. But I think that that chemistry that those guys solidified in rookie minicamp is gonna pay out. I think we're gonna see the benefits of that
Yeah,
against New Orleans on Sunday for sure.
yeah. Now, if you want to hear more about this game, because it's interesting, it's compelling because there's still a wide open race in the NFC South. I can imagine they're talking about it on Locked On Sports today because they want to give reaction to the biggest stories. They want to follow the biggest stories as well. And this is one of them. This is a storyline probably unlike anything else in the NFL, at least. And if you look at the NBA, game night a couple nights ago, the Lakers looked good, but not good enough to beat the Celtics. So I'm sure they'll give you reaction on games like that. Or we definitely know Steph Curry had a shoulder injury, and how is that going to impact the Warriors and the race in the Western Conference the rest of the year? Check them out. They'll give you their reaction on the biggest stories, but also you guys know we have For the Culture right here on ATL Day Ones. They've got take of the day, and it's about the same. They'll give you all the tea in their take. So again, that's Locked On Sports Today. You can check them out as soon as you finish checking out ATL Day Ones on the Odyssey app, at YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, Jarvis, speaking of this race in the NFC South, yes, there are different percentages. Falcons obviously have the smallest percentage to win, followed by the Saints, and then the Bucks and the Panthers are actually trending up. So we're in that final stretch where everybody has 4 games amongst those 4 teams. You're looking at the schedule, you're looking at the rosters, you're looking at the teams that control their own destiny, i.e., the Panthers and the Bucks, and you really think to yourself, who's the favorite in the division right now? Let me just kind of read this off to you. So the Bucks, of course, they are 6-7, and they've got the Bengals at home. They've got the Cardinals. They travel to Arizona, but we know they're down Kyler Murray, so that could make a difference. They're visiting the Panthers, the ones that are on trending up the best, and of course, they end the season right here in Atlanta. Now your Panthers 5-8, but that 5-8 is sneaky good for what Steve Wilkes has been able to do the past several weeks, right? They host
Mhm.
the Steelers, they host the Lions. Lions are trending up. Got to watch that one. They go to the Bucks, and then they go to the Saints, and then of course the Saints. It's the Falcons here. I'm sorry, Falcons in New Orleans. They go to the Browns. They go to the Eagles, so that's going to be tough. And then of course they come back at the end of the season, and I think they play maybe the Bucks that last. Yeah, Bucks. That's their last game. So Jarvis, now that I've laid it out from a schedule perspective, we know everybody's roster challenges, and we know who's in control of their own destiny. Who's really the favorite in this division right now?
To be honest with you, if you ask from a momentum standpoint, I think I would go to Carolina Panthers
That's who
because,
I
like you
picked
said,
too.
yeah, because Steve Wilkes has done a hell of a job, and I think he may have earned that head coaching gig to get that interim tag removed, and I would love that because, and I'm gonna just be blunt here. Well, hey, a brother getting a second chance, I'm all for that,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Because I think he got ramrodded,
Oh, in
out there in
Arizona,
Arizona, and I think
absolutely.
that hey, y'all did Steve Wilkes that way. Y'all need to do Cliff Kingsbury the same way because that dude cannot. He's not a good head coach. I don't
Yeah.
give a crap
Especially
what you
not at
say
this
about
level.
it. Yeah. And he went on that one at the college level either. I ain't gonna give him that either. I'll let you have that. You can do that, but I ain't giving him that either. He was an average head coach in college, and he's less than average in the NFL. So yeah. Anyway, But yeah, I think the Panthers, the way they're running the football, I
Mm-hmm.
think this time of year is a time of year where you start to see that balance start to pay off, right? And I think that Carolina is coming around. Sam Darnold's been inserted into the lineup. Hey, he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to carry that offense. He could just turn
Right.
around and hand that bad boy off to Chuba Hubbard. And they got guys they picked up off the practice squad out there just balling. So I think that Carolina has a really good chance to win his division. I don't think Tom Brady, he's lost it. He doesn't have it. I don't think, and not being able to or refusing to run the
Run the
football,
football,
and
yeah.
they can't because they down in games so much. So the defense is reeling. I just think the way, and then the Falcons, and like as much as I hate to admit this, like they changing quarterbacks. We don't know what we're going to get for Ridder. I think
Right.
he can be able to do some good things, but is he going to be able to carry this team to win 4 straight games and
Mm-hmm.
still be crossing your eyes and saying Hail Mary's trying to win a division? Because that's the only way they're getting in. Let me go ahead and say that. So yeah, I think the Panthers are that squad, and I think that the Falcons are going to be hard pressed to win this division, and we know that that's the only way they're going to get in.
Exactly, because when we talk about it, I also think advantage Panthers because of their schedule, because
Right.
the Bucks could easily go 1-3. Easily
Right.
go 1-3 in this last stretch. And we know that would completely take them out, right? And you
Right.
look at the Saints and they're just so topsy-turvy. I mean, you really don't know what to kind of make of them on both sides of the ball. So I don't really give them much of a chance either. But with the Falcons, not easy. You're talking Saints, and it's still going to be hostile in New Orleans. So you just don't know how that's going. Plus, coupled with the fact that it is going to be Desmond Ridder getting his sea legs wet next week. And then you
Right.
got the Ravens that you got to travel to Baltimore to take on. Cardinals, that might be a doable game for you.
Yeah, that's winnable.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you could win the Cardinals, and maybe you could pull off the Bucks because they're trending down, but I don't think going 2-2 in the last 4 games is going to get it for you.
No, that's
I
not going to
really,
work.
really
Yeah.
don't think so. But the saga of the NFC South probably stresses you out. I can understand Falcons fans. It probably stresses you out, but there's an easy remedy to that. All you have to do is get a Built Bar. If you get a Built Bar and go to built.com and check that out, it'll soothe all your woes and all your worries. So it is 100% real chocolate. We know you love that.
Not
And
so believable.
just 160 grams of fat, which is awesome if you are trying to keep those pounds off, especially trying to balance it out with all of this holiday food, and
Yes.
15 grams of protein, which is really cool. So again, check out Built Bars. The puffs are awesome. Check out the puffs. And that is at built.com. You can use the locked on 15 code, and that will get you 15% off your first order. And again, it is, I'm looking at the clock, looking at the calendar, December 15th. You have 10 days to get all your Christmas gifts. Why don't you get some Built Bar, all the Built Bar stuff you can get, all the Built Bar material and merchandise, and go ahead and make them stocking stuffers because that's a good look for you. And I'm sure your family members will approve.